Hi, I'm Jade Pichette, the Volunteer Coordinator here at the Canadian Lesbian Gay Archives. We have with us today for our 2015 National Volunteering Week, one of our longest term volunteers, Gordon, and we're just going to have a little chat today about his experience at the archives and his experience being a volunteer, and yeah, so welcome, Gordon.
Thank you.
So how long have you been at the CLGA?
Well, I'm not certain exactly, but I would say about 16 years. Yeah, that sounds about right, about 16 years.
Okay. And how did you initially get into the archives?
Well, actually, I heard about it through a good friend of mine, Mario. I think you've probably spoken to already.
Yeah.
And he suggested that I might be interested. So we were down at Temperance Street at that time. And so I said, sure. And I went down there, and it seemed to be interesting. And it was like having some place to go to work, like office work. And I became, it sort of grabbed me, and I never left. I'm still here.
Great.
Through all those years and several moves.
Several moves.
Yeah, several tough ones, but anyway.
So what work do you do here at the CLGA?
Oh, presently I handle the vertical files pretty well exclusively. When I first started, I was cataloging porno, but yeah, well, somebody's got to do it. But believe me, it gets a little tiresome after a while. There's too much sameness to it. Sounds exciting, but it's not exciting. So I switched to these. The vertical files is very interesting because you get a whole cross-section of everything. You sort of, and you learn so much because you're constantly getting the news stories and different people up on events. So it stays very interesting. The hard part, not hard, but the least interesting part, of course, is filing. But it's very difficult. I usually have a lot of people helping me with that. Unfortunately, they don't stay very long. People don't find that very exciting. But I was a librarian in my job when I was working, and I always felt filing is so important, and if something is not filed correctly, it's lost. So I'm sort of heavy-handed on the filing, but I do enjoy it.
Can you explain what vertical files are?
Vertical files are anything that is too frail or too small, too thin to stand by itself on a shelf. So therefore it would be like a little brochure or newspaper clipping, a magazine page, anything that it can't sit in the monographs or on the library shelf because it simply cannot stand on its own. So it's always in a manila folder.
I think a lot of people don't realize that that's actually important stuff to keep and
Yes.
tells a lot about our history. So.
Exactly. Well, I'm told here by volunteers that have been here a long time, and the vertical files are generally the first contact point when a researcher is coming in to look for something. Because if you've worked in the library or know anything about libraries, library patrons, same would be researchers, they always come to the library and their question is about usually this big. They don't know what they want, and your job as a librarian or a reference librarian is to get them to know what it is they want.
Perfect. So what are some of the highlights that come to mind?
By being here?
Yeah.
Well, I've made a few good friendships out of it, which is a nice side. And also, it's given me like a focus in my week. It's sort of like going to work 2 days a week, which is nice. So it's something that I want to do. And when you're retired, you need to have things to do. And this is solving that. And it's a nice atmosphere. I like the group that I'm working with, and it's quite pleasurable.
Do you want to speak about how those friendships have evolved over time?
Well, that's always difficult to say. Like some people will say, well, you've got a good friend and so, well, where did you meet? And you think, I don't really know. Where did I meet, Because even with my good friend Mario, because I've known him for over 30 years, but we met at a gym, so I remember that. But with the fellows that I've become friendly with, and some of the women here, friends tend to just evolve. They're always difficult to explain. I guess there's a chemistry, or there's interests that are the same, or things that you like to share in your life, activities, and then they start to build. And it's really nice. I think friendships they're whatever, they last, you know. Love comes and goes, but friendships are here when you need them, and they're very important to work at.
Yeah.
And I've met some nice people here.
And they keep people coming back
Yeah.
with volunteering. So.
Yeah, nice.
So that kind of goes to the other question that I had, which was what you enjoy most at the archives. But
Jokingly, and it's not such a joke, I enjoy the monthly get-togethers. We started that a few years back, and it's sort of a bonding thing, because when we're working here, like this evening, we're all scattered through the building, as you probably know, and it was the same when we were in the other locations. We're not all right together. So somehow, there again, I don't really know how it got started. Did I start it, or did it just did somebody say, oh, let's have a drink, or something like that? So now, once a month, and we celebrate birthdays or special events, and we one Tuesday in the month we get together, and it's great. And we talk about other things, so we get to know each other even better. You know, where have you been? What have you done? Because a lot of us like to travel, so we've always got things to tell about each other. Nice, it's great.
So it becomes kind of like a family.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Great.
Great group of friends. Yeah.
So is there any one story or like event or something that happened in the archives that you want to relay?
I don't think so. Nothing sort of jumps out. It's been just one nice long continuous
journey.
Yeah, it's been nice. And it's still going.
Yeah.
So that's nice, because there's still so much to do. It never ends.
Doesn't
end. So you might say I'm on a trip without the accessories. Yeah.
All right. Well,
Okay.
Well, thank you, Gordon, and thank you for giving your time today. And,
Right.
and we really appreciate you here at the archives and all the work you do.
Good.
And, we wouldn't function without you.
Well, without a lot of us, but
Sure.
not just me and you, and now you. Okay.
All right. Thank you.